The National Electrical Code, or NEC, permits the installation of an electrical panel in a bathroom under specific conditions. The primary concern is safety, particularly regarding the proximity of electrical equipment to water sources. The NEC mandates that an electrical panel installed in a bathroom must maintain a minimum clearance of 6 feet from any water source. This includes bathtubs, showers, sinks, and any other fixture where water is present. This distance helps to prevent accidental contact with water while working on or near the electrical panel, reducing the risk of electric shock. In addition to the clearance requirement, the NEC stipulates that the electrical panel must be enclosed in a watertight enclosure. This enclosure is designed to prevent water from entering the panel and causing short circuits, corrosion, or other electrical hazards. The watertight enclosure must be constructed of a non-conductive material, such as plastic or fiberglass. These materials do not conduct electricity, further enhancing safety by preventing the enclosure itself from becoming a potential shock hazard. The enclosure must be securely mounted to the wall or floor to ensure stability and prevent accidental damage. Proper mounting also helps to maintain the watertight seal of the enclosure. It is crucial to use appropriate fasteners and mounting hardware that are compatible with the wall or floor material and capable of supporting the weight of the electrical panel and enclosure. The NEC provides detailed guidelines on the types of enclosures suitable for use in wet or damp locations, such as bathrooms. These enclosures are typically rated based on their ability to withstand exposure to water and other environmental factors. Installers should consult the NEC and product specifications to ensure that the selected enclosure meets the required standards for the intended application. Moreover, all electrical work, including the installation of electrical panels, must comply with local building codes and regulations. These codes may impose additional requirements or restrictions beyond those specified in the NEC. It is essential to obtain the necessary permits and inspections to ensure that the installation meets all applicable standards. When planning an electrical panel installation in a bathroom, it is advisable to consult with a qualified electrician. An electrician can assess the specific conditions of the bathroom, including the location of water sources, the available space, and the existing electrical system. They can also advise on the appropriate type of electrical panel and enclosure to use, as well as the best location for the installation. Furthermore, a qualified electrician can perform the installation in accordance with the NEC and local building codes, ensuring that the work is done safely and correctly. This can help to prevent potential electrical hazards and ensure the long-term reliability of the electrical system. If you are unsure about any aspect of installing an electrical panel in a bathroom, it is always best to seek professional guidance. Attempting to perform electrical work without the necessary knowledge and experience can be dangerous and may result in serious injury or property damage. Always prioritize safety and consult with a qualified electrician to ensure that the installation is done correctly and in compliance with all applicable regulations. The NEC is a comprehensive set of standards that governs the safe installation of electrical wiring and equipment. It is updated regularly to reflect changes in technology and best practices. Staying informed about the latest NEC requirements is essential for anyone involved in electrical work. Firstly, understand the relevant articles in the NEC that pertain to the installation of electrical panels in bathrooms or wet locations. Secondly, make sure to adhere to the clearance requirements from water sources. Thirdly, use a watertight enclosure made of non-conductive material. Fourthly, ensure that the enclosure is securely mounted. Fifthly, comply with all local building codes and regulations. Sixthly, obtain the necessary permits and inspections. Seventhly, consult with a qualified electrician if you have any questions or concerns. Eighthly, prioritize safety at all times. Ninthly, use appropriate personal protective equipment when working on or near electrical equipment. Tenthly, to energize the electrical circuit before performing any work. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, Section 110.26 addresses working space about electrical equipment. This section mandates specific clearances and working spaces around electrical panels and other equipment operating at 600 volts nominal, or less, to ground. These requirements are crucial for ensuring the safety of electricians and other personnel who may need to access and work on the equipment. The working space requirements outlined in NEC 110.26 vary depending on the voltage of the equipment and the conditions present on the opposite side of the working space. The NEC defines three conditions that determine the minimum required depth of the working space. Condition 1 applies where there are exposed live parts on one side of the working space and no grounded parts or grounded parts suitably guarded or insulated on the other side of the working space. Condition 2 applies where there are exposed live parts on one side of the working space and grounded parts on the other side of the working space. Condition 3 applies where there are exposed live parts on both sides of the working space. The depth of the working space must be increased for higher voltage equipment. For example, for equipment operating at 150 volts or less to ground, the minimum depth of the working space is 3 feet for condition 1, 3 feet for condition 2, and 3 feet for condition 3. For equipment operating at 600 volts to ground, the minimum depth of the working space is 3 feet for condition 1, 3.5 feet for condition 2, and 4 feet for condition 3. In addition to the depth requirements, NEC 110.26 also specifies minimum width and height requirements for the working space. The width of the working space must be at least 30 inches or the width of the equipment, whichever is greater. The height of the working space must be at least 6.5 feet or the height of the equipment, whichever is greater. Furthermore, NEC 110.26 requires that the working space be clear and unobstructed. This means that there should be no pipes, ducts, or other equipment located within the working space. The working space must also be adequately illuminated to allow for safe and effective work. Access to the working space must be provided and must be of sufficient size to allow personnel to enter and exit the space safely. Doors or hinged panels that provide access to the working space must be capable of being opened at least 90 degrees. The requirements of NEC 110.26 are intended to provide a safe working environment for electricians and other personnel who may need to access and work on electrical equipment. By complying with these requirements, it is possible to reduce the risk of electrical shock, arc flash, and other hazards. NEC Section 314 covers outlet device, pull, and junction boxes, conduit bodies, fittings, and handheld enclosures. This section provides requirements for the installation and use of these electrical components to ensure safety and proper functioning of electrical systems. Outlet boxes are enclosures installed at points where electrical wiring terminates and devices such as receptacles, switches, or lighting fixtures are connected. Device boxes are similar to outlet boxes but are specifically designed to accommodate wiring devices such as switches and receptacles. Pull boxes are used in conduit runs to facilitate the pulling of wires through long or complex conduit systems. Junction boxes are used to join multiple electrical circuits or to provide a point for branching off to other circuits. Conduit bodies are fittings used to connect sections of conduit and provide access to the wires inside the conduit. Handheld enclosures are small enclosures installed at ground level to provide access to underground electrical wiring or equipment. NEC 314 specifies requirements for the materials, construction, and installation of these electrical components. The boxes and enclosures must be made of durable materials that are suitable for the environment in which they are installed. They must also be sized appropriately to accommodate the number and size of conductors that will be installed in them. The boxes and enclosures must be securely mounted to a structural surface and must be properly grounded to ensure electrical safety. NEC 314 also specifies requirements for the wiring connections within the boxes and enclosures. The conductors must be properly sized and insulated and must be connected using approved methods. The boxes and enclosures must be closed with covers or plates to protect the wiring and prevent accidental contact with live parts. In addition to these general requirements, NEC 314 also includes specific requirements for different types of boxes and enclosures. For example, outlet boxes installed in wet locations must be weatherproof and must be installed in a manner that prevents water from entering the box. Conduit bodies used in underground installations must be suitable for direct burial and must be protected from corrosion. By complying with the requirements of NEC 314, it is possible to ensure that electrical boxes, enclosures, and fittings are installed safely and correctly. This helps to prevent electrical hazards and ensures the long-term reliability of electrical systems. The NEC also provides guidelines on grounding and bonding. Grounding and bonding are essential safety measures in electrical systems. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, allowing overcurrent devices to trip and de-energize the circuit. Bonding connects all metal parts of the electrical system together, creating a low-impedance path for fault current. The NEC specifies requirements for grounding electrodes, grounding conductors, and bonding conductors. Grounding electrodes are used to connect the electrical system to the earth. Grounding conductors connect the equipment grounding system to the grounding electrode. Bonding conductors connect metal parts of the electrical system together. The NEC also includes requirements for the size and installation of grounding and bonding conductors. The size of the grounding and bonding conductors must be adequate to carry the maximum fault current that could occur in the system. The conductors must be installed in a manner that provides a low impedance path for fault current. Proper grounding and bonding are essential for protecting people and equipment from electrical shock and fire hazards. By complying with the NEC requirements for grounding and bonding, it is possible to create a safer electrical system.